Boolean Filter Explained. Hi, I'm Bob Briggs. Today we're going to learn about Boolean filters. Now normally Boolean filters are things reserved for elite programmers, but in the Webigami world, Boolean filters are a different story. They're point and click and very easy. In this video, we're going to take all the mystery out of Boolean filters and show you how easy they are to create. Let's first take a look at some examples of Boolean filters. I have a report here called Recent Assets I'll use to show you. Take a look at the filter at the top of this report. It's an example of a Boolean filter. It restricts you to assets purchased after the date 5/13/2016. Let's look at another example that I've prepared. Okay, this report has a different Boolean filter. It has two little boxes. Not only are we restricting the assets by the purchase date, we're also restricting it by the asset category. In this case, we're restricting it to assets in the category hardware. Let's go ahead and look at another example. Okay, this report has another Boolean query. It has three little boxes. It's similar to the one before, but it does three different kinds of restrictions: by purchase date, by asset category, and by purchase amount. As you can see, the Boolean filters just appear at the top of your report. Now let's look at these boxes in more detail. Notice that every box has three parts. You have a field on the left-hand side, like a purchase date, or an asset category, or a purchase amount. In between that and a value, you have what is called an operator. It could be a greater than sign. It could be an equal sign. It could be a less than sign. That second part is called the operator. The third part is the value. So every box has three parts: the category, the operator, and the value. Also notice that these different boxes get connected together with words like and. And means take this restriction and restrict it even more with this restriction. And if we have and again, and restrict it even more. Another word that can be used but that is not in this particular query is the word or. That means expand out the results that you have. If it was an or, on your report, you would get the assets that were purchased after 5/13/2006, and you would also get all the assets in the category hardware. Now let's look at these filters in more detail. Let's see how we create them. Let's start with a report with no query. Let's go ahead and add a filter that restricts the report to purchases in the last 2 months. Our first step is to go ahead and click the report settings. Then we choose Boolean Filter, and this is where we can create our filter. Let's click on Add to Restriction, and we'll see a screen with the three parts that appear in the box: the field, the operator, and the value. What we want is all the purchases within the last 2 months. The field will be a purchase date. The operator will be less than. Next, we want the purchases in the last 2 months. We click on Relative, because it's the last 2 months relative to whatever the current date is. We click the little calendar, and we choose 2 months. We apply it to our search, click the X, and now we're out. Now we have a Boolean filter that restricts the report to all the purchases before 5/13/2016. That's all there really is to it. Since it was so easy to create this filter, let's do a little bit more. How about also restricting the report to only hardware? Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click the settings, Boolean filter, add to restriction. Let's choose the category. Equals, let's type in hardware. Apply it to the search. And now we have a restriction that's both by the purchase date and the hardware. As you can see, these Boolean filters are easy to set up. We've just created a complex Boolean query in literally seconds. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave us a comment below or send us a message on our customer support line. We're here to make your operations great.